No, that was not the lady. No.
No, aren't we already live?
Yeah, now
I thought we were. I heard the voice.
Yeah, I heard the voice. So.
Yeah, but you got to press it on YouTube too. It's an awful situation, I think. But okay. So welcome to the 8th episode of the.
You have to press it. You have to press it in 2
Chip,
different places.
And Ken.
Yeah. Oh my God! How complicated! Yay!
So today I'm gonna do some of my American jokes. I know a couple of us have them. I think everybody actually has some, except for Ken, because he just thinks America's funny in general. So
I still have hope. I still have hope and respect for your country.
Right. That's so sad that you do. It's weird.
Log out now.
Right.
Can I say that I'm the only non-American here for once?
You are.
I feel such like an immigrant.
You better learn English well.
No, you're not. You don't feel like an immigrant. We would have put you in a cage right now. So
yeah. I'm about to come and take your land.
If you look the size of my room, it's kind of it.
So. Who built it for you? No, I'm just kidding.
A Portuguese, probably, because we're in Luxembourg.
Oh man, I remember that first joke I ever heard while I was in Luxembourg, and it was about the Portuguese construction workers, and I was like, oh, in America, people would be like, stop talking about Mexicans and being racist.
Right.
It's exactly the same thing. It's just the length of the peel that changed.
Oh man. Okay, so one of my so I'm gonna start out with something I came up with, especially with the times we're going through right now. I know some of you guys have heard it. I've revised it a little bit, but about the things that are going on in America, especially with racism, right? So I've come up with offensive languages for racist. I've only come up with 4 because if I included a 5th one with this audience, they'd think I was being way too inclusive. So for people that complain about the N-word being offensive, I'm gonna go straight to hey, gun control. Like, gun control restrictions should be increased, and then they'll feel that like ting, of the N-word, I think. And then police aren't killing black people. I just want to say abortions aren't killing babies either. But, so, pro-choice, yeah. That our history is being erased because we're taking down monuments of racists and people that wanted to enslave black people. I'm going to say this. American and English are not the official languages of the country. So then they, can think about it and then maybe make that connection. I actually had this conversation today about Roman numerals and freaking Arabic numerals.
Yes.
This guy was convinced he had been speaking only in English and Roman numerals as you put down the numbers 2 and 3. And that we should not, as Americans, be forced to learn Arabic numerals. But then what would happen to math? But yeah, and then when people complain about the rioting and looting, I want to say things like, well, you did want to get a haircut during the pandemic. And, right now people are complaining about how much it hurts to wear face masks. So just imagine like the 450 years of hurt that black people have gone through. It's kind of similar to the face mask situation. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on for my American jokes. Not against America, I said against America, but for Americans, at least the racist ones. But yeah, so later on I'm gonna do my other stuff, but I want to go straight to the international dude for some of his awesome American jokes. Ken.
Hey.
The international man of
tank top.
the international
Tank top
man of
confuse
comedy.
you. Yeah.
I'm
He is
kind
still
of
a heterosexual.
yeah, depends on the day. The thing is, I'm confused because you told me like you tell me to do American jokes, and I thought it was to do I had to do patriotic jokes, and I know
Yeah,
that
I mean those are
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
know that
pretty much
I know that
America.
I know that next to patriotic in the dictionary you have America, but still, the thing is, and it's kind of weird. Like I know you have a weird thing in the party, like you say USA, USA, and everybody starts to do that. You never heard that in Luxembourg. Like you never everybody says like Luxembourg, Luxembourg, simply because he doesn't want to spend the rest of the party explaining where the country is. Simple as that. And also, like, it's kind of easy for you because when you talk the whole time about your country, it's normal. You bring so much to the world. Like, we are such influenced by, like, America. If I talk the whole time about Luxembourg, it's just to remind you that we still are around. You know, it's just marketing moves, so you don't forget us. I have to say that literally the two only jokes I had. So yep. Kind of out of material. I focused so much on yesterday and on the show on Tuesday that yeah, it's the two only jokes I could talk about that.
Kenny. I can.
If you want to talk about my tank top, it's fine. I have like 1 hour 30. I have a special on Netflix about it, but.
But
only
you know
if the tank top was made in America.
Yep.
Damn, it's made in China. Fuck.
That's where all the stuff in America came from.
Is that where you're buying all your stuff from, Aaron? Is from America?
Yeah. Yeah, from America, like from China via America.
Right. I love it when it has to ship from China to America to come to Germany. It's so amazing. Where's my shit at? Oh, it's still in China. Okay, just making sure. But Ken, you know how you said that USA thing? I actually encountered that. So like I was at this march last year in the Netherlands, and you know I found it interesting how like all the other countries would like cheer us on as we're passing by in our uniforms with our flags and stuff. They'd be like USA, USA, and then like we would just then join in them chanting our country instead of saying oh Germany. And then on top of that, I don't know if how many Americans know this. I mean, it was the women, so maybe not a lot, but we did win the World Cup last year in soccer, and we beat the Netherlands. So that was another thing that was always chanted while we were walking through the Netherlands, and people from the U.S. were somewhat offended, and I had to explain to them why they were saying this. But the Netherlands people would say, "You're number one, we're number two." And people were getting offended by this. And I'm like, I go, you realize they're talking about the World Cup. We beat them. So like we are number one and they are number two. It's all this weird situation. But to be us.
I have a question about that, Jermaine. Do you only know that because they all took off their shirts when they won?
I went there because of that. I actually went to a couple games just in case that happened.
Just want to know.
Just to clarify, they were offended by the Netherlands saying they were number two. I mean, they were happy that they were saying the U.S. was number one. So the idea that the Netherlands was number two is a thing they were upset about. Like who were they expecting in number two? That's what I want to know. What would be the acceptable number two?
I honestly was confused as you were because I don't know if they were like taking like spite and like are these people making fun of us that we think we're number one and everything. And then, so like now it's 9 months later. No, now a full year later, we had to prove them right because we're number one in COVID.
Right. Okay.
Number one in unemployment.
No, it was weird because it was like if somebody said, Jay, you're the best, but I'm okay. And you're like, what do you mean you're okay? What do you mean by that you're okay? I mean, I'm the best, but I don't know if you're okay. It's like, I'm offended by the fact that you think you're okay.
That is pretty much how it did actually go down. It was very awkward for me to explain that. Yeah, you know how like the men haven't won a World Cup in forever.
Right.
We've only won many, so that's what they're talking about.
I would just like to point out though that they still don't get paid the same, even though
they don't.
No, they don't. Remember, even though the Women's World Cup actually won, they still don't get paid as much as the men. So,
well, it's their own fault though. It's their own.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's funny that an entire like judicial system said, actually, no, you don't deserve more money, even though your revenue is actually more than the U.S. men's soccer team. But whatever, you know, still don't deserve it.
Well, they said that you guys made they made the deal, so it's like,
well, I mean, when you're not getting paid, I mean, it's okay though. It's okay because now when I reference America being number one in good things, I'm just gonna be like, no, don't confuse it with like all of America, like the men in America. Just remember, it's the women. American women are number one.
Number one.
So, but all right. So, Chip, you have your stuff.
I have my stuff.
I will be right there. Go for it. Okay.
My thing, of course, is that the same people that bitch and complain about every kid winning a medal when he plays Little League soccer are the same people that are worried about taking down Confederate statues, which, after all, are the ultimate participation trophy. I mean, it's like, come on, you guys actually lost, you know, it's like, and yet you want these huge trophies. I think, you know, a lot of times you can tell about a country by, you know, putting it juxtapose another country and realizing the contrast to another country. So like in the Soviet Union, if you have gay sex, you get arrested. In America, if you get arrested, you usually get gay sex. So, you know, it's like they're kind of, you know, opposite in that. And I really love America now, especially Trump supporters, you know, because they're always, you know, I'm free, I can do whatever I want, you know, I can do it whenever I want, I'm American. And you're like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? I can't, I'm broke. You know, it's like, oh, okay. So how's that Make America Great going for you? You know, in white America, I love white America because you can tell when somebody in white America is going to say something that's sexist or racist or homophobic, because it always starts out with, hey,
Okay.
I don't think, I mean, I don't want to sound racist, but maybe black people shouldn't vote. You know? The other thing about making America great is that America has what I consider the best workers, hardest workers. They never complain. The only caveat is that they're usually immigrants. So it's interesting. And lastly, on the downside, I think that basically 9 out of 10 Americans are stupid. And I'm just glad that I'm in that 1%. That's not, you know, I'm not really sure about the math, but I'm pretty sure I'm in that 1%. So I think that's all I have on America.
Yay!
I love how you said that. You did that like looking around thing about black people being around.
That's it. You gotta. I'm not sexist, but
are there any women?
I'm not homophobic, but
my favorite. Go ahead, Ken.
I actually there's a joke I'm working on. I still don't have to punch about it, but it starts like that. It's like, I have nothing against homosexual, and I guess at this moment you were waiting for my but, and that's the problem. Gay men also wait for my butt. So.
I like that.
Oh my gosh!
You like the joke on my butt. It's confusing.
That's hilarious. No, so the thing about that though is I have this story about this lady. She said a very homophobic thing to me once, right? And she was, and we're at work, which was crazy. But she goes, I don't think it's your fault you're a homosexual because all you guys were molested as children. I was like, what?
Every single one of you.
And I'm like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah, I could understand how you might choose to be gay after you've been molested. I'm like, first off, let me get this out of the way right now. Like, I've never been molested. So, at least as a child. Like, Jesus. So she's like, I told her how offensive that was, and like, talked to her about, choice, like a lot of times no one's choosing to be gay. It's kind of like, the pro-choice thing that doesn't work on our side. That's just on the whole abortion side. But but what was funny is how she prefaced, she was like, I have a black kid, right? I'm like, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? And she's like, I'm not racist or homophobic. I have a black kid.
I have a black kid. So you didn't ask, like, okay, so is your black kid gay? I don't understand. What does that mean? It's like,
I had to stop. Are you molesting him right now, or how does that
work?
It was very intense. I was like, we're like in a mobile patrol in a truck, and I'm trying to drive. I'm like, what is happening?
Right.
Like, but just how she said it so confidently. Like she's like, I mean, I'm not racist or homophobic. I have a black kid, and I'm like,
right.
I almost crashed the truck.
Yeah, it's like a stupid comment like that. I realize it's not your fault. It's the fact that your parents were brother and sister. I mean, 100% of people who say that kind of stuff, their parents are brother and sister.
Definitely.
I wish I were as witty as you, Chip.
It's like, what the hell?
So dumbfounded. So dumbfounded. I just love it. I used to say this until I really realized, like, people took it as I was being racist. I'd be like, oh, no, but I have a black wife. I'm joking. Like, I'm really not racist, but
that's right. I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm racist. She's not my wife. I own her.
Shit.
But yeah, but all right. So I'm really excited that Erin came back for another roundtable because she's extremely funny. Yeah. So the other week I got to go to a comedy show with Erin, and I blame her for me bombing because I was super nervous to tell jokes around her. But she's super funny. Yay! I did tell Shane that though. I said I bombed because of you. Thanks.
No, you're awesome. Jamaria is awesome. She was good that night, and I'm sure she was better even last night.
That's right.
But yeah, so I'm one of the 90% that Chip was talking about. I'm the part of the stupid Americans. Like, I didn't fuck with the directions about this show. I didn't realize we were supposed to tell American jokes, but luckily I have some, so I'm gonna back this up. First of all, usually when I do a show in Luxembourg, there's a lot of people from a lot of different countries, and so people are always like, "Oh, where are you from?" Like, that's how the comedians start. And I'm America, so I'm like, "Oh, where's everybody from?" And then they say it, and I'm like, "Could you stay after and explain to me where those places are?" because I'm from America. It's pretty cool. Let's see. I feel like we've been talking a lot about white supremacy recently. Like, what is white supremacy? Like all this. Like, what is white privilege? Like, and I feel like if you ever thought it would be hot to have a cop show up at your bachelorette party, that's white privilege. One of the worst things about Trump being in charge right now is that we elected him. And what I actually mean is white women. And people are always asking us, like, oh, didn't you know that was going to be against your own self-interest? Like, why did so many white women vote for Trump? And I'm like, have you ever met any white women? We're the ones who eat bulimia. That's where you eat good food and then you throw it up and you're still fat. I think we know something about working against our own self-interest. Am I right? Yeah. When I first got to Europe, like, people were dicks to me because they hated America. And I actually like that more than right now, because now they're to me because they feel sorry for me. It's fucking awkward. That's my backlog of American jokes. Now I'm going to tell my new joke, which is not really as tough as those jokes. Who's this new person who just dropped in and is totally surprised about what's happening here? Hello, dude.
They dropped.
Well, yeah. So my new joke is that, like, one of the weirdest things about living in another country is the bathrooms. Like, you got to figure out the bathrooms, especially in restaurants, because they try to be all cute with their bathrooms. Like, you go and you see the doors and you're like, am I Mubs or am I Bubs? Like, what the fuck? You're like, am I the acorn or am I the leaf? And you don't know, like, which bathroom is yours, right? And I was looking at this bathroom. I was in a restaurant the other day, and I was looking at this bathroom, and I'm like, I guess I'm more like a bucket than I am like a lightning bolt. So I opened the door to go in, and that's when I found out that restaurant doesn't have any bathrooms. You like that?
I like that. So, when you did that last night, I was thinking too that there's probably a way to do a tag on that where it's like you realize that they didn't have any bathrooms, and you're glad that you wound up peeing in the mop bucket and not on the circuit breaker. Something, because then that would call back the two images of the bucket and then the light. What's the lightning bolt? Oh, that's the electrical closet. So she didn't pee on the circuit breaker.
Right.
Something like that. But I don't know. It may work or not work. But you could probably extend that on another laugh on that one. I think.
Yeah,
but I think it's a good solid joke.
Thank you.
I love that somebody else understands that struggle of, like, oh, this is a triangle in a circle,
right?
Or triangle in the circle. Have you been to Poland, Aaron?
No, but the worst thing is when they have animals. Like, different countries have different animals that they think are like male and female animals and stuff. And for me, the worst time was when I was in the country of Georgia once, and the country of Georgia, the word for woman starts with an M, and the word for man starts with a W. And I had to fucking hold it for like 2 weeks, because sometimes they knew that there were foreigners, and so they would put it like men and women, like in English, but I never knew which places those were. And I'm like, oh my God, does this W mean that I should go in there or no? Like, it was super awkward.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Poland was the worst for me. Yeah.
Right.
What is Poland like? What is their deal?
So it's like, first off, like they have like circles and triangles, and then in some places it's like the circle around the triangle and then the triangle around the circle. Like, they're different a lot of and some of it's awkward. Or so on the military post, it's like if it's nothing, it's man. If it's triangle, it's woman. That's how they but I do have.
So I also think.
Huh?
Okay, I was gonna say I also think the generic punch for that setup. Either way you go on the man woman thing, and it's like you just don't know. So I just wound up peeing in the kitchen. You know, it's like fuck it.
Right.
Fuck it. But the funny thing, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I was on a festival once with this comedian named Irene Wang, and she was like, yeah, like she looks like a man, and so she was like, whenever I go into the bathroom, people are like, are you sure you're in the right bathroom? And she's like, yeah, I know what a triangle is. I've worn a triangle before.
So I tell this joke about so it happened in Poland, but it was funny because I'm at this like little food court mall thing, and so anytime I go most places now, I make sure I know what the word is for female and woman, right? So I can go into the right bathroom, because I always get pointed to the male bathroom. But so I'm like, I go into the female bathroom, and I knew this guy was an American. Knew it 100%, because I walk out, he's looking at the signs, and he's like, "What the fuck?" He looks at me, walks right into the bathroom I came out of. Didn't check him or anything.
That's good. Okay. So now we have to have our new person introduce himself.
Yeah,
He's from Dallas, Texas. Is this your third week of doing comedy? What is it?
It's a third.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Third month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself to the room?
Yes, I would. Hello, everybody. I am Matthew Swakis. You can just call me Matt Sway if that is too foreign, I guess. As you may see from this, one could argue angelic baby face. I'm very young. I'm just 20 years old. So, I'm just doing this until my parents threaten me enough that they won't sign my loan. So,
And you're in Dallas, right?
Yes, I am. Dallas Fort, that huge metroplex. So, yeah.
I think I was on a show with you once, actually. Probably. Now that I'm looking at you. Yeah. This guy was asking us all the questions. The host was asking all these questions about like what it's like to be a comedian. And you were like, barely started. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I think yeah. Go ahead. Carry on.
No, it's okay. If you're the one I'm think you're talking about, like I had to my parents yelled at me to go downstairs, and like I had to leave early because I've been scammed. So I thought I was helping a humble Nigerian in this country. So like it didn't work out. So
I feel for your mom though. I really was feeling for your mom in that situation.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
I love it.
So yeah, like I still need to like be able to write about that, but like I just don't have the ability to. It's just like I don't know. I tried to write a poem, and it doesn't even like.
Doesn't work.
No, I can't even. I met all these people that are like, just write it out, write out your feelings and stuff. And normally I'm used to yelling at a wall. It's like in a corner or something. And while no one's around, just take it out on the shower, because showers are probably like the closest thing to a boyfriend I'll ever have, because I can complain about all my problems and it won't listen. I'm not gay, but I do look the part.
That's your brother.
I tried it once though. Like I think that's a requirement when you're an alcoholic and you're in liberal arts college. Like what's your degree plan? Did you kiss a guy? Use tongue. Did you extra credit? Good. Okay. Yeah. I feel like college. The problem with college is that it just makes you. They want you to leave there with an opinion, and that requires effort. So I can't. It's too hard for me. I can't. I'm so easily swayed by things. You could tell me on a whiff, just what something about just some random piece of information that's not even true, and I'll just be out there with the sign "Free the yogurt companies." I'm not sure what I'm saying, but I'm just that's why I like protests now, because they actually make sense. I actually know the issues, and I actually feel like I should be out there. The problem is, there's Corona, and my brother has a pre-existing condition called Crohn's disease. It's basically his body hates him just as much as we do. He had to actually get colon surgery and get it removed from his body because his body kept attacking itself. So to relieve the pain, he has a second asshole on his side, which somehow just made him a bigger asshole. He walked out of there and he's just he's more conservative now. I don't know how it's happened. He just gives his random opinions. I think we should get rid of the participation trophies. I'm like, who gave you an accent? And they can't figure it out. Science is not really sure why the colon is linked to being full of shit. But that's just the way it goes. And my sister actually contracted the virus. She actually tested positive. So now I can't even go out and protest because it's too late. Everyone's done. I thought this was my one chance to taste pepper. Yeah, it's not great. Grew up Catholic, so that's just a bit more about me. This is all. I'm joking. Yeah, but I grew up Catholic, so I was a bit of a weird kid. I was very religious. I thought about God all the time. I thought about death, and it scared me. That's why I'm here and talking to these random strangers for their approval. Yeah, you feel it, one person. Anyway.
I relate.
Okay, awesome. But yeah, it hurts because looking back, I was so ignorant. I didn't like rap music because I didn't like the way they treated bitches and hoes. And the only ones I knew were Mary Magdalene, the prostitute that gave up her life to follow Jesus. Went to the tomb first and told the rest of his disciples. Oh yeah, and I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, that bitch Judas. Little fucking bitch, sneaking and snitching. Right. It's hard to explain to everybody. Stitches don't get stitches. You just give them a rope and help them figure it out.
Oh.
That didn't. I'm still working on that last one, but life's a work in progress unless you're Judas. I actually had a fear that I was Judas when I was little because when you were a good Catholic, you think you're a bad Catholic. That's a measure of how Catholic you are. It's if you are constantly thinking about how terrible you are, that is good. Feel terrible. It's like a bad relationship. It's like a bad relationship with God. People make fun of that all the time. I'm Catholic, therefore God hates me. No, it's worse. You hate yourself. And God's just man, I don't care. I don't give a shit. So, you can just jump off a building and they're flowers? I'm sorry, babe. Anyway, What I'm trying to say is, being Catholic sucks. And if I could have chosen like any religion that I had growing up, it probably would have been Scientology. Just saying. That way, like, I could have met Tom Cruise, maybe. I don't know. Like, maybe
Nah.
it helps, like in Hollywood. Maybe it would have helped me if I moved to Hollywood.
Mhm.
It's like, because that. Let's get into conspiracies. Everyone loves those. They great when it comes to a lot of things. Like when the alien videos came out with like the U.S. Navy pilots, I didn't believe it because, you know, it's like the Scientologists in Hollywood, they believe in aliens, so of course they would support themselves. Like we've all seen like those deep fake videos where like it looks so real but they're proving a point, or we've seen other fake things like the moon landing. You know, like it all just I don't know. Not sure where to go from here. It was working out so well. I guess so. How many minutes do I have?
We're just letting you go, man.
You're done. Giving you the light.
Look, Aaron's giving you the light.
She's giving you the light.
I'm just saying, we're gonna save so much money on drywall when we get men to be like that. Not full of toxic masculinity. That's cool. No, I'm feeling that.
Holy shit. No, no, that's good, man.
You got
Wait,
lots of
so
work in
have
there.
you been doing it for a full 3 months?
Like 4 now, really?
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I would.
Work up the nerve to go to an open mic when everything's shut down. So,
Right. Well, I
Sorry to
mean,
interrupt.
one thing you can be happy about is that Ken laughed because I was wondering if there's going to be jealousy because Ken is usually our heterosexual homosexual guy in the room. So, you know,
Yeah.
to have a second one and he laughed. I thought you
No,
did
I
pretty
mean,
well.
it's totally fine. I can share the spot. That's one, and two. It's nice to have like an American white version and an international brown version of it. It's more diverse.
I
You
love
know?
that Ken thinks he's brown. I love it.
I love
I
that.
just love that Ken thinks that.
Yeah.
I'm not brown like you, but I'm not a white. I'm Arabic. Believe me. Every time I meet an Arab
Well-
person,
So
he's like,
what-
brother. I'm like, fuck you.
It's
What?
okay.
Ken,
My
Ken,
mayonnaise in a
Ken-
tortilla, so
I was gonna
no.
say, Ken, if you're talking about brown like me, I mean, yeah, I mean, but I'm not the typical brown guy. That's
Yeah, you know that's the difference in Europe. I think we have like we are colorblind or we don't see the color as same as you because for as a European point of view, you're black. You're not brown.
right. But you know,
And,
I did.
Wait,
Yeah.
but in
I did-
Europe, it's more like you're just racist towards like the country you came from. You're not
No, I'm-
racist against people's skin
Yeah.
color. It's like,
I'm just
you're
saying-
Portuguese, I hate you.
I'm just saying, for black people, I'm not very black. In fact, I did this open mic in Chicago first time in the room,
Oh shit.
and
Yeah,
and so I'm doing my black material, and it's kind of lukewarm, and then later, this comedian does sort of this off-color joke, and he goes, "Well, let me ask Tristan if this is okay." Tristan is a dark-skinned black guy, the only other black guy in the room, and Tristan's like, "Oh yeah, it's okay." And I'm like, "Aren't you going to ask me?" And he's like, "Why would I ask you?" I said, "Because I'm black." The host goes, "You're black?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm black." So I pulled up my dreadlocks, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, you are black." and so they're like going, "Oh, now your jokes make sense." We're like, "Who's this white guy doing all this black material?" It's like-
What the fuck? Okay.
I was like, "Oh,
That is
okay."
amazing.
I was
But
like,
so wait,
"Oh,
can't
okay."
I thought white people could have dreads now. I thought everybody could buy hair now.
Yeah, well, mine I think are pretty apparent that they're not store bought. This when they're like, "Oh, now your whole set makes sense." I was like, "Okay."
Can you redo it? Let's redo it so we can do the laugh track on that. Oh man. Oh, I have one more. I actually have one more American joke, and it's
I was just gonna say
about COVID.
One thing to Matt. You got a lot of stuff there that's really good premises and stuff. You're gonna have to work on really hard punches. And I also think that when you start talking about like your family, like your brother, what you want to do is you want to do the stuff that's about you first, so that the audience has an affinity for you, they like you, and then you can do the stuff that's sort of a little harder on other people. Because if you put that stuff first, a lot of times they'll just think you're an asshole, and then they'll sort of tune out to the rest of the stuff you do later. But if you get them on your side, then you got a little more leeway to sort of make fun of your sister and your brother. But you got some good stuff there.
Thank you so much.
I think so. I don't know, but I've just recently started writing my stuff out. I don't know if you're writing it down. Like I've started writing it like I talk. So and it's actually just helped me remember. Like obviously I know my stories, but it's kind of helped me like put the what did somebody say once? Make it more punchier throughout the story instead of you're listening to a whole story and then all of a sudden something's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it also locks it in because you're using a different part of your brain when you're writing stuff out. It helps you remember the stuff. It helps you make connections.
You watch yourself doing it, and then you cut out the stuff where people weren't laughing. You know, like what you want left is only the stuff where people were laughing.
Okay, thank you. Writing this down.
So what's your COVID joke, Jake?
Oh, I think I've told this one before, but I wanted to end it on this just because it is American related. So I've realized something during this whole pandemic situation about American culture and the privilege of being an American, right? For example, using the term social distancing was too much for some of us to comprehend because we had to soon change it to physical distancing because people thought it meant like we couldn't FaceTime each other anymore or we'd catch COVID. I thought it was a good excuse not to answer my phone for anyone, to include my boss. I would text like, hey, did you need something? I want to abide by the rules of social distancing. I think email and text are safer, but the safest is to not communicate at all. That was my joke. But I don't know how it is. I don't really know how it is in America. I just know like here in Europe, we had to rewrite op orders that said social distancing.
Yeah, I think everybody here
physical distancing.
Everyone here knows that. That's really weird because
you see, Chip, like you say 99% of the American were dumb. Here is like 110% of the people.
Actually, what I said was 9 out of 10, so that's 9%. I mean, that's 90%. 90%.
Yeah, it just proved my point.
I know. Yeah. Well, that's because I'm in that 1% that's not dumb. Wait a minute, that's not right.
10%.
No, but that's the joke. Is I say I'm in the 1%.
Right.
But yeah.
You know.
No, this was good. It was funny. I liked it. Okay. Thank you guys. I'm gonna end it and then we can stay on the line, but I'll just
good to see you Friday.
This thing.
See you.
Cool.